Everything I'm going to cover in this video will be based off of tweets that Zeekers posted and leaks in the Patreon. These are just my thoughts on what I think will happen with version 50 based on the sneak peeks. First up, we have the first tweet from Zeekers since version 47, and it's a picture of a knife. So the British are coming to Lethal Company. Just kidding, of course. This image was posted with no context. My theory for this is that there will be a new enemy similar to the Nutcracker that drops a knife when killed. Now, if I were to design an enemy with a knife for this game, it would be for a small enemy with a lot of speed but doesn't really do a lot of damage, kind of like a gremlin running around. A lot of people will say that a butcher could be this new enemy, but to me that doesn't really sound like it fits Lethal Company. Although not that a gremlin would be much better, although it would be funny. One thing we do know is that we will be getting a new enemy. On Zeeker's Patreon, he said that he rigged and textured a new enemy for version 50 that will drastically change the endgame, which means, to me, high quota runs. Now, is this for the worse or better? My guess is worse, as new enemies and more danger only mean bad things. But I could be wrong because the Nutcracker actually made the endgame better and longer lasting. In addition, because Zeeker says this enemy will drastically change endgame, it could actually be an enemy that persists between the moons. And this is one of the ideas that my friend Jish had, where think of Ghost Girl, for example, scaling with quotas. So on early quotas, Girl just kind of stares at you but never really attacks. But as you hit like 1,000 quota, maybe she'll start attacking. 2,000 quota, she'll be faster than her normal base speed, and she'll like increase in speed as quotas go on. And so maybe it's a enemy that kind of stays with you between moons, which would be pretty cool. In general, I do have a strong suspicion that this new enemy will have a knife drop from it. I do not think that the knife would be a random scrap item that you just find in the facility, or at least I hope not. Zeekers goes on to talk more about the enemies, saying it's zany and possibly belongs to another one of his games, The Upturned, and might end up looking like it's from Little Nightmares or Over the Garden Wall. This makes me think that it's going to be an enemy with a deformed shape that vaguely resembles a human form, but will still be a dark tone creature like Bracken. But let me know what you think this enemy is going to look like. The biggest confirmed addition is player physics around slopes. Zeeker says that players will fall faster down slopes and move slower up them. He did mention that this change would be very subtle, but this could mean some jumps are no longer possible, like the Dying Fire exit climb without ladder. There was another post on Zeeker's Twitter that included a bunch of drawings he did with a friend. However, in these drawings, you can see what seems to be a new tile he's creating. From the drawing, you can tell it's a new mansion tile, and it's a T-tile with somewhat of a spiral staircase in the middle of the room to go up to another floor. Which could be cool to see in a factory tile, where if there was like a spiral grading staircase that takes you to another floor in factory. Last thing we have from the Patreon is that Zeekers acknowledges the love people have towards underwater moon or facility ideas. I doubt that we would get something like this for version 50, but maybe we would see this concept in a future update. Who knows? It would be cool to see an interior where it's a submarine type feel, and the glass windows are where you can look out into an ocean abyss. For what I hope gets added, my number one hope is for a lot of bug fixes. We need a lot of fixes right now, with shotguns being weird and enemy AI being annoying at times, like Bracken camping fire exits. I would also love to see ship loot, which is a mod that lets you see the total amount on ship, and a better selling system added to the game that makes high quota vanilla runs be less tedious. Lastly, I'm hoping for a new tier 2 moon and moon rebalances. This way, we have 3 moons in each category, and hopefully Titan gets a buff while Ren gets a nerf, because the cheapest paid moon should not be the best moon to go to. The one last thing we have is new ambient sound, and so I will end the video by letting you listen to this beautiful ambience that Zeekers has created for version 50.